Hi there, Mr. HEMSWORTH. I'm Anil from Turkey.
Pleasure to meet you.
Az sonra bu videoda size Anıl'ın Chris Hemsworth ile yaptığı sohbeti gururla sunmak isterim arkadaşlar. Ben çok kısa konuşup kaçacağım. Bundan yıllar önce Russo kardeşlerin Infinity War filmini yönettiği günlerde Joe Russo'nun anlatmak istediği bir hikaye daha vardı. O da Extraction. Russo, Marvel filmlerinin dublör koordinatörü olan Sam Hargrave ile görüşüp ona yeni projesinden bahsetmiş ve Sam Hargrave bu filmin yönetmeni olmuştu. Ardından hep birlikte Chris Hemsworth'a başrol teklifi götürdüler ve ortaya Netflix'te çok sevilen Extraction filmi çıkmıştı. Şimdi de Extraction filminin ikincisi tüm aksiyonuyla Netflix'te yayında ve tabii biz de bu sırada filmin yönetmeni ve oyuncularıyla röportaj yapma şansına eriştik. Ezgi'nin kanalı adına tüm röportajları Anıl yapıyor biliyorsunuz ama Chris Hemsworth'la muhabbetini kıskanmadığımı söyleyemem. İsterseniz hep birlikte bakalım neler konuşmuşlar. Videonun sonunda geri geleceğim.
Hi there, Mr. HEMSWORTH. I'm Anil from Turkey. It's a great pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Thanks. What an action-packed movie. We see Tyler's emotions more deeply here too. It was a real roller coaster, and I wonder, how are you doing this? It was so tense that I got tired watching you. like in a good way, of course.
Yeah. I think, what I'm really proud of in this film is the authenticity around the exhaustion and the adversity and the challenges that the characters are going through, because we're going through it. It's not shot in a traditional way on a green screen in sunny California and Hollywood, and then post-production comes in and makes you look sweaty and makes it all look cool. This was, we shot in the Czech Republic in Prague, middle of winter, a lot of big one continuous shots, so if there's one step out of line we have to start again. The athleticism required for this it felt more like being a professional athlete than it did an actor a lot of the time. But the communal collaboration between all the stunt performers, the artists, the crew, the cast, everyone was unlike anything I've experienced before. And I think it gives the action on screen a grit and an integrity and truth that you can't replicate otherwise.
And like you said, some scenes are really crowded and full of extras, and the camera always follows you through all the beating, and sometimes it follows you too close. And I keep wondering, have you ever accidentally hit a cameraman or ruin a perfect shot? You did?
Yeah, a lot. And that's part of, how Sam shoots. A lot of the time he's operating in there with us. And we've rehearsed this for months with, when this punch happens, this person moves, the camera moves here, this person crosses. Like it's like a dance that it's so specific and detailed. And you bump a camera, you're a second or two too early, too late, the shot doesn't work. So there's a chaos and a frenetic energy to it. But again, I think it ended up being pretty cool once it works.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Yeah. And in this one, and in Tyler's story, he relieves his pain with different kids right now. And as you are a great father, I believe, in real life, and was this something that drove you into the story in the first place?
Yeah, you're always trying to find an access point when you're playing a character, and whether or not you entirely agree with the actions of the individual, you've got to find a way to empathize with it. And sometimes you're on the opposite end of the spectrum as to who this person is, but the simplification of, well, is this about guilt, shame, redemption, love, revenge, whatever? We can all find elements in our life that parallel that. Certainly having children myself, the idea of losing a child, the idea of the trauma and suffering that would come from that is exponential, I think, to if I hadn't had children. So yeah, I empathize deeply with the character, and then also the the guilt and the shame this individual is suffering with. I'd like to think I would have made different choices, but the complexity of all of us is so varied. Can we ever really judge one another? So I think it's a pretty grounded sort of idea that most people can connect with.
Well, when you said losing a child, and I just want to do that, knock on wood. Do you do that?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, every time.
And for the last, a quick one. Is it better to fight without a cape or with a cape?
Way better without a cape. Do you know how many? we could have several years of movies of outtakes of me tripping on the cape. I don't know where the cape came into history and whether it was ever really a useful thing. You know,
It doesn't look useful.
You don't see anyone in the UFC wearing a cape, do you? That kind of says something. Well, the boxing, you know. Yeah. The amount of times I do it's, a stunt and the cape would be covering my entire head.
Yeah.
I was like, I'd be dead. That's it.
So true. Well, thanks, man. It was great for me. I hope it's great for you too.
It was fantastic. Great to talk to you.
To you too. Have a good day. Hi, Mr. Hargrave. Before Extraction, you were stunt coordinator in Marvel movies, and Russo brothers led away to Extraction. It's going bigger now, and can we expect this universe to expand?
Yes, I think there is a desire, I think, from fans, but also internally for this universe to expand. Where that's going to go, I'm not sure, but I as a fan would love to see that, but also as a filmmaker, would love to see that as well. I think that could be very exciting.
And about the action, especially in the first movie, there was a scene where Chris throws a kid from a rooftop to another, and then he jumps, but also the camera jumps right after him. And I wonder, how does that work? Are your camera also stunt performance?
Yes. So in the first film, I operated a camera for that long sequence, that 11.5-minute oneer, and I jumped across the roof with them. We were on safety lines so that no one fell and died, but we on this movie tried to do some similar wild things. Like I was strapping myself to the front of UTVs, was running alongside and on top of moving trains with helicopters landing 3 feet from me. So part of the DNA of this franchise is real stunts captured in camera. So we tried to put the camera in places that would be unexpected and challenging to capture, but also rewarding when you see that frame up on the screen.
Yeah. And like there's also so crowded scenes. Like I believe someone in there must be looking at the camera or something. And do you edit a few people out in the editing room?
Well, in a oneer it's tough because you can't edit around anything. It's just one camera capturing it all. So there were a few times when you've got 400 people moving in and around the camera and sometimes not knowing exactly where it is. Yes, mistakenly, at times people could look into the lens. And then the beauty nowadays with CGs, you could go in there and move their eyes in a different direction so that they're not looking at the camera and not have to cut around it or replace that person. It's just a quick little fix with CG.
Okay, that's great. It was great meeting you. Thank you so much.
Okay, great to meet you too.
Hi there, I'm Anul from Turkey. How are you?
Hi, thank you.
First of all, great movie, great character, Nick. And now it's a real joy to see you more involved with the action. But before the scenes, how did the choreography of the fights go? It looks a bit complicated from here, like dancing. Was it that fun?
It is fun. At the same time, it's very difficult and demanding. So you need to train a lot before the shooting. You need to learn the choreography like a dance. At the same time, you're acting. So putting all this together, remember the fight, remember to act, remember all that stuff together. It is fun and also demanding and exhausting, tiring, but very amusing also to do because it's a great challenge to do all these scenes and the fights and all that.
And I believe in this movie, your character is diving more and more into the action, but would you say the story for her may continue after this? Like, I think there's a lot more room for her to tell.
Yes, I think also with Extraction, people, they wanted to know more about her and who is she and what is her relation to Rake. And then it led into her being more involved on the field with Tyler Rake, fighting together. But still, they're not, like, their relationship stays a mystery because we don't know really why they are so loyal to each other and why they care for each other so much. And they're ready to die for each other, both of them. There is a lot to explore there, but I guess yeah, we would love to know about who she is and where is she coming from and where is she going from here. So that's why I think also she's there a lot more.
That's cool. How do we pronounce your name? Is it like Gülşifte?
Yes, it is. It's funny, but in Turkish accent you say Gülşifte, but it's Golşifte. In Iran we say Gol. In Turkish you say Gül. So, but it's flower. It's still flower. Golşifte is flower crazy in love or crazy in love with the flower.
Okay, I'm glad that we covered that. My time's up right now, I believe. But thank you for
Thank
me.
you. Have a
Bye.
good day. Bye.
Röportajları izlediniz. Umarım beğenmişsinizdir. Kendisi gerçekten çok heyecanlıydı ve kurgu bitene kadar bana da röportajı izletmedi. Ama Extraction 2'yi izledim ve seveceğinize eminim. İzlemediyseniz Netflix'te ilk filmle birlikte peş peşe izleyebilirsiniz. Sonra da yüksek dozda Chris Hemsworth alıp bayılabilirsiniz. Onu bilemiyorum.
Let's find out.
Evet, o zaman kendinize iyi bakın. Abone olmayı unutmayın. Bakalım daha başka ne sürpriz röportajlar olacak. Kim bilir. Bir sonraki videoda görüşürüz. Kendinize iyi bakın. Hoşçakalın. Bye.
Glad to talk to you.
Okay.
Okay.